Right today.
Come on in, y'all. Come on in. The water is fine. Come on in. Come on in. 8 plus 1 is 9. I did go to Chicago public school, so I could be off by 1. Come on in. And a half at least. Because 9.5 won't do. Yes. Tag a friend, tag a neighbor, tag a cop. Come on in. Let's talk about the dress code of, not a code. I'm not talking about dress code, but we're just going to talk about dressing up. Because if I say code, then I'm going to have a whole bunch of folk on here fight. Yeah. So I'm going to be trying to figure out where in the Bible is the code.
That's what they're going to say.
That's what they're going to say, Doc. You already know. I know my people well. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. Come on in. Tag your friend and tag your brother. Tag your husband. Tag your boyfriend.
Hey, Stink. Hey,
Hello, everybody. So other Jones show. I am he. It is Wednesday. This be the day, y'all, the Lord made. He made this one. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I'm so glad and ecstatic and happy and flabbergasted. I can never say that word, and I don't know what it means, but it's something that had to do something positive. Yeah, I got the brothers here smelling mighty nice in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Lord have mercy, there's a smoke in the room, and it ain't weed, but it's it's a fragrance, a sweet smelling fragrance at that. The great Townsend is in this room.
Yes, Lord.
And we're going to talk about the dressing. How should your man dress, all right? Yes. And I know y'all, you talk about different eras, and we're going to push on these Townsends. I got two for the price of one.
Hey, folks.
Man, I don't know how to act in this here place. Got 2 Townsends, and one didn't know, but the other one did know, so now you all know.
Now you know.
They here.
Yeah.
This man here, the Dr. Marcel Townsend, is proprietor of an amazing store in somewhere out there in the land of Chicago, over there in Spokane, Washington. I don't know where it is. Okay,
Yonderville.
Yeah, Yonderville.
Oh Lord God.
Yeah, iconic style where we brand the man. Woo! Tag your boyfriend in your boot now, because you wanted to know why is now. Let me ask y'all this question. Let me push y'all on something that everybody kind of know now. All right, Dr. Townsend over here, Eric Townsend.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
When your mama bought you some drawers, okay, I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm nervous.
Mama bought drawers, and we all had what was called tighty whities.
Yes,
Lord.
yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, I grew up on that.
You grew up on tighty whities,
Yes,
tighty
sir.
whities,
Yes, sir.
tighty whities
Yes,
too.
sir.
We kept wearing it, so it became dingy whities.
Yeah,
and
dingy whities.
Dingy whities.
whities.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, and then after a while, it just they became colorful. Okay.
Yeah. Street white.
They were streak. Yeah, we were streaking. Mama put clothes in the washing machine, but the drawers she had to scrub them by hand because boys just gonna be boys.
With a Lufthansa bar.
Well, yeah. Yes, sir.
Y'all ain't ready.
For this. We're trying to tell you how we come up.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, now. Mama just bought the drawers and we put them on, and we did not allow anybody to see our drawers on us.
Oh, God.
We try to pull our pants up as much as we can.
Yes, we did.
Don't let nobody see our tighty whities.
No sagging.
All right, now, something done changed.
Yes, it did.
I went to the store and I saw a package of underwear.
Yeah.
All right, they were some Hanes. Okay. And because I'm above underoos, I'm
That's
past
right.
that right
Yes,
now.
sir.
No more
Yes, sir.
superhero
Yes, sir.
friends, okay?
No,
all right.
no, sir.
But the way they were packaging this underwear, they needed you to understand that these underwears are meant to be seen
Yeah.
by others.
Yeah.
Really?
The way they packaged them.
Very much so.
Yes. They said, put your hand in there and feel it. And I'm trying to tell you. And I says, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so women buy panties for not just themselves, but for their men to enjoy.
Right.
Because they go to, this woman got a secret.
Yeah.
Her name Vicky or somebody.
Vicky.
All right.
I know her.
You know about her?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't know about Vicky?
I don't know about her or the secret.
Oh, the secret? Yeah. Well, we're about to tell you a secret about Vicky.
Oh, God.
Okay. I walked in Vicky one time with a young lady. She went in there. I thought she was going to in there buy some gum, but she went there to look for some underwear.
She went for the secret?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why you bringing me into this secret. Okay. She said, well, I said, okay.
Because I want to make sure they get something you like.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it was.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Now, I see. And there were colorful secrets everywhere, and she said, put your hand on it and feel it. I said, oh, that's interesting. And then T.D. Jake says, satin sheets don't slide. That's what he said. He said that. Yeah, he did. I believed him when I heard it.
Oh, God.
And them satin drawers, panties, they did slide, though. It's like M&M's.
Oh, Father God.
They melt in your hand, not in your mouth. What is it?
Okay. Everybody bow your head.
Yeah, bow your head right now. Y'all came on this show. You knew this was going to happen. Okay, so.
Can we pray first?
So they buy these stuff because they want you to admire it by the color, by the feel.
The feel.
Yeah.
So now the brothers are buying drawers for the same reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're marketing the pants to sag so that you can be pulled in by the drawers.
They actually even have the branding is gotten bigger, and the
brand
marketing of so not just the name of the product, but now you can buy your favorite sports teams and all that stuff on the underwear, and it's up towards the top. Oh my God. So that way you can sag and advertise at the same time.
Sag and advertise.
That's nasty.
That is kind of nasty, ain't it?
Very nasty.
Okay. Why? What? So you think we're going to continue in this, or you think we're going to go back?
There is still a classic man.
Yes, it is.
That
an iconic man.
That dress. Look at him.
Look at him.
Ching.
Yeah.
There still is a classic man that knows the power.
Absolutely.
Of the exterior. Now I'm speaking this as you look at me in my scruff and overgrown hair and all. For those that do not know, and I don't share it lightly, but I've taken kind of a Nazarite vows. I'm in the middle of this 60-day fast. So I want you to know I'm not speaking about something I don't practice.
Good.
Right.
Although I don't spend, countless hours upon hours in somebody's barber chair, I usually am well manicured, right? And I don't sag. Now, I'm not judgmental against those that do. I question the mentality often of those that participate in things they don't understand the ramifications or significance or definitions of.
Absolutely.
So if we don't take the moments to educate them, but I digress. There is a classic man who understands the power in the external being my calling card or my invitation to the table that I might offer what's in me.
Absolutely.
I might offer what's in me.
Inside
of me.
That's right.
Dr. Townsend here.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Before we see what's on this table.
Okay.
Okay. It's not Oprah Winfrey, so y'all ain't getting nothing for free. Okay. All right. Help me out.
Yes, sir.
Can you take me through the times of the early 1900s up into today and tell me the different styles that men wore?
Yes.
And help us out.
Okay. Beginning around the turn of the century, you had the Edwardian look, where men wore three-piece garments. You had your vest. You had your long coat, or which was considered your top coat. Men wore stockings or long stockings. That was over time. That was replaced. Okay, so one thing that was developed that we saw that came to America was the bespoke look. The bespoke look started in England on Savile Row, which is in Westminster, where garments were tailor-made, handmade, actually. Bespoke means that a garment was spoken for. So that's what the term bespoke means. You claimed the cloth. You basically did what was necessary to purchase that cloth, and it was spoken for. So that's where the term bespoke came from. You've seen around the turn of the century three-piece suits. There were the rounded collars. Men wore ties. Men wore hats in America from the late 1800s up to I would say the 50s or the 60s. Men wore hats. Now, for Chicago to not be a hat town anymore, sort of sad. But prayerfully, we'll be bringing that back. But Chicago has always been a hat town. New York has always been a hat town. A lot of your tailors came from New York. They came from Chicago. Some of your main tailors that when we were growing up in the 70s, you may remember Maxwell Street.
Yes,
I'll just call it the Maxwell Street area. Yes. I don't want to be racially offensive. Okay, I know we're on radio. So it was
not on the Sir Walter Jones.
No. That's
so
your town.
around Maxwell Street, around Halsted, Maxwell Street, you had some great tailors, but also you had them in New York. By the way, there is a resurgence of the British look coming back to New York even now. But during that time, you had the look of the three-piece suit progressing into the 30s, 40s. You had the double-breasted look, broad shoulders for the broad American men. American men are built by far and large, whether they're African American or white, they are built a certain way other than European men. Okay, so the style is built different, and so you have these three-piece suits. The British look, let me explain. It's sort of more like a military look. It's very crisp. The shoulders are very, very, very crisp. Right. Whereas the Italian look in the shoulders is more relaxed.
Like asymmetrical, I think
yes.
You would say, maybe.
And so a lot of the British styles were influenced from the military styles. If you compare some of the military coats or dressings of World War II, Sir Winston Churchill, so forth and so on, it was based upon, the British style is based upon some of the military look. Okay, you had people such as Brooks Brothers who introduced certain things in England. Some of those fashion styles and trends were brought over to America. Coming into the 50s and the 60s, which is one of my favorite periods as far as the civil rights is concerned, because you always saw people such as our leaders wearing hats. Everyone wore a hat. In fact, if you looked at let me go back for a second. If you look at the black and white pictures of the photography of the Harlem Renaissance, everybody was in a hat. Yes, you didn't leave out the house without a hat. You were dressed from head to toe. Your shoes were shine. I mean, you took pride in your clothing. You may have had little, but it was washed. It was pressed. I mean, you could see the creases. Look at the old black and whites. You could see the creases in the pants and so forth. Progressing further into the 50s and the 60s and the Black Power movement, people began to wear hats less and wear afros more. Or wear their hair in different styles in terms of expression. So fashion did change. There was a resurgence of jeans or denim into the American population in the 50s and the 60s, of course, in the hippie movement, so forth and so on. However, there's always been that population, as Eric pointed out, that has always dressed well, that has always, believed in, standards as far as quality, excellence, and dressing for the occasion. Dressing for the occasion is always important, very much so. And so what I saw even in the 70s going into the 80s, you saw people wearing suits. You saw, especially in the 80s, the double-breasted suits come back. You saw them come back with the baggies, of course, with the curl and the shag and all sorts of hairstyles. But the blessing of that is, okay, in the 90s, the baggies left. Some people say, thank God, so that the curl and the shag. And dressing seemed to have changed and shifted. Actually, a lot of the American public, if I could say without generalization, you've seen the population dress according to how they saw athletes dress. You saw them dress according to how they saw performers and artists dress. For example, I've seen where if, let's just say a rap group or a rap artist will wear dreads, then the average population, the boys on the street, will want to wear dreads. When they cut their hair, think about this. When they cut their hair and they started to sag, what did the average young man in the hood do? They cut their hair, but they started sagging. Mm-hmm. And so now you're beginning to see a class of men, a class of gentlemen wear suits again, wear hats again, wear not just ties again, but pre-tie bow ties, because it is an art. Going back to wearing hats. So there's that generation of men who, in our generation, we grew up and our mamas told us we didn't leave the house without, number one, a hat. We didn't leave the house without a belt. You wore your belt. I call it the anti-sagging device. But you wore that belt. You didn't leave the house with it. Some things, you know, now if we leave the house now and at our age, we'll feel naked without a belt, or naked without a tie, or naked without a hat, especially if your dad was a Southern gentleman and he taught you always to wear a hat. So that in part loosely is how styles have changed over the over the decade.
Over the eras. And I have a picture here of the hats. This was taken actually in 1920s, mid 1920s, and you see everybody standing there got a hat on.
Yes.
All right. This is Flag Day, June something like that, 1920 something, and there they are, everybody. They also wore hats, suits, that is, to take their ladies to the park.
To the
picnics, I've seen swimming, shows, all right. Those civil rights leaders, they were marching and they had suits on, no matter what it was, okay. So that's just the way the men they dressed. Now, we're not telling you that you need to go now, all the men need to go buy suits and put them on and wear them everywhere. No, we're not telling you that. But what I will say, though, I have a disdain with these musicians here today who don't own not one suit.
Absolutely.
Don't want to own it. Absolutely. Not one.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, depending on the venue, some venues don't require suits.
Right.
All right. There's some places, some gigs don't require it.
Right.
But you have not one. You can't even bury your parents, and because you refuse to buy one.
Right.
So now, but if you get called on a job,
oh God. Yeah.
You're going to put on a suit.
Absolutely.
If you go to the courthouse, your lawyer going to tell you, put on a suit. You see what I'm saying?
Color too.
A certain color, absolutely. You're going to go to see the president. Well, this president, I don't know what you're going to wear. You can go naked if you want. But you go to this suit, you're going to put a suit on for politics, okay? Right. But when it comes to certain religious gigs, right, everybody in the room is dressed with suits on, and you come into like a banquet. I've seen it. I've gigged with these guys. Right. They got a wrinkled T-shirt on. They're coming in there.
And if I can interject,
ridiculous. Yes,
I remember looking at Ken Burns Jazz, for example. And
yes,
when you look at the old documentaries of the jazz musicians, all the way from Ellington all the way up, everyone was always dressed, whether in uniform, just like they were always dressed. And one thing I liked about it was, that was the era when they started calling each other man. This is where we get the term like, hey man, what's up man? It came from the jazz musicians because for so long before the jazz age, they were always called boy. So when they finally came up north and started playing and gigging, they would compliment each other and they said, oh, you're doing a good job, man. And so they would call each other man because for so long they had been called boy. But they also dressed impeccably.
Impeccably. What's your favorite era, Dr. Townsend?
My favorite, Dr.
My favorite era of dress.
He gonna say the 80s. What?
I was finna say 1999.
Really?
We're gonna party like it's 1999. No, I'm teasing. Honestly, I think that's a good question. I think right after the 70s.
Yeah, right after the 70s.
Right after the 70s. I wasn't big into bell bottoms. Especially not on a guy. On the women, I'm cool with.
Me too.
But if I had to pick my favorite style, growing up, I always wanted to own a zoot suit.
Oh yes.
With the stripes.
Yes,
Cab Calloway.
I wanted to be just like
Cab.
Sir. I wanted the wide brim.
Eat you weasel, eat you later.
Yeah.
My baby.
Howdy.
Which the watch chain.
Yes, sir.
I wanted all of that. I wanted all of that. Yes, sir.
With the spectators.
Yeah.
Spectators, that is.
Yes, sir.
Spit shine.
So that would have been my favorite era, and I probably could see myself going back to that. But I'm not really a skinny. I don't like anything on my legs.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that just I still my suits now still are baggy.
Yeah.
As far as my pants are concerned, I still wear a 2.5 inch cuff.
Yes, sir.
I still want it, big and I still put a crease in my jeans every now and again.
Yes, with all the stars.
So I think probably I guess that would be the Zoot suits would be around the 20s, 30s, right? Is that
30s or 40s? Yeah.
30s or 40s? Okay, so that's right about then. That's my favorite style.
That's good. That's good. Well, that my era. And people ask me what era that I feel was the best era. I said the 1940s.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
For everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For everything. For clothes. For music.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that was good Black Wall Street,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Come
yes.
on, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Same time.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It was the greatest era known to man, I believe, and that was and they call that the greatest generation.
Yes,
that
sir.
generation. All
Yes.
right, that's right before the baby boomers came. The baby boomers were being born.
Yes.
During the 40s. So yeah,
Yeah.
I tell you, if God gave me an opportunity to go back.
Okay.
Right
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I said, beam me up to 1940.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Now the ladies are speaking. The ladies are speaking. Janine Joe says it's nothing like a man in a nice suit, distinguished. Melissa Green says men should dress like you, your dad, and Bishop Moody. All right,
Hold up.
Melissa Green, go on, girl.
Bless
all
her
right,
heart.
all right. Call me.
She ain't had a coffee.
Okay.
She ain't had a coffee. She ain't had a coffee. Lady Rochelle Matheny says it's refreshing to hear the history where we come from, trends and fashions to see how styles have changed. Amen. Melissa also says the emperor, some new clothes. I was talking about that naked to go see them. Yeah. Men pants should not be as skinny as their legs. Ooh. I can't do it, man. My clothes are still loose on me. I bought my first skinny leg suit, not so much because I wanted it. It's just that I kind of didn't know it was
Right.
it was that skinny
Right.
until I don't know whether I was drinking something or something when because I tried it on, but I paid more attention to the upper portion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I had it tailored, and then when I took it home, I said, "These are skinny leg."
Yeah. Well, you used to not even have to think about that.
Yeah, you went right. So it's difficult. I went to buy my son some jeans. I went with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the jeans of when we were coming up, 1980s, 90s.
Right.
You know, and everything in that store was either a baggy or a distressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It got
And
design.
it got design and all that.
rhinestones.
Yeah.
They're ripped. They're
Been ripped, and okay, and I'm like, okay, I can't shop here.
Right.
And my son like, I want these. I said, you like those? Yeah, I like. Then I had to realize, well, he's a young man. It's a different time. I couldn't get with it, man.
Remember when Husky was the largest size?
Husky was the largest size.
It would start at numbers like 14,
Yes,
16,
sir.
18,
It was
then
the
go to
only
Husky.
size.
And then
Yeah.
go to Husky.
Husky, right to Husky.
That was the only size I could wear.
See what I'm saying? J-Mo Pro says the mentality of these young musicians is that of the scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, God.
Ooh, wow. Bam. My husband came to my graduation as I was receiving my MBA with a do-rag on his head.
Do-rag.
The crowd was 90% Caucasian, and I was so embarrassed. That's what Lady Rochelle was saying. Yeah. Ooh, each was she.
Do-rags.
A do-rag on his head. Well, when she said that, when she said my husband, you know that must not still be her husband, because
Do-rag.
or she would have just exposed her husband, but I think she meant to say ex. You meant to say ex, Lady Rochelle, right? Because these people here wondering, oh, I didn't know Lady Rochelle was married. Now, Doc, you got some ties over there.
Yes, I do.
Hey, Townsend over here on my left.
Yes, sir.
You own ties.
I do.
Are you a tie man, though?
I am.
You really are?
I am.
Knows how to tie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now, when me and my son would get together, he didn't know we had separated for a little while.
I like this one.
So his mama, okay, y'all. Now we trying to show y'all something here.
That's the flower
All right.
paisley.
Come on, man. Now that right there, that's beautiful. Let me see that right there. Give me that, man. Pass it over here.
That's not for you. Okay, but you can show it.
I want the people to see.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now this right here.
Got the Obama look right
Yes, sir. This right here is a tie for all occasions.
But I got the pockets.
Yeah, you got the
That's right.
Now this is happening right here.
I like
Now
that.
this right here you used to see on the wallpaper in your kitchen in the 1970s.
Back in the day, for real.
Back in the day. But now look at this. This is beautiful right here.
Yeah.
Okay? This is this Versace or his mama? Who
Verse
was it?
9.
Verse 9. Okay, this
Yeah.
verse 9 in the
Verse
Bible.
1X.
Yeah. This beautiful. And then there's a
company from Atlanta.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, Townsend, do you know how to do different types of
Yes.
bows and
Yes.
and what they call different? They got
half Windsor, full Windsor,
half ones and full ones
and yes,
Okay, can you?
yes, I can.
Now, ladies, tell your young men to come to the camera right now,
come to the camera.
or rewind this when you
your
get an
husbands,
opportunity. Tell your husbands to come. All you ladies who want to see your brothers and husbands, and how this is a how-to. You ain't got the YouTube nothing. We're gonna show you on the So Walter Jones
Absolutely.
show how it's done by a man who does it all the time. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna let him get situated over there.
What you finna start?
And because we got some smells here as well. We don't believe in smelling like a State Street sissy, okay? Because I don't want to be sitting in the pulpit and you in the parking lot and I smell you. That means your cologne would cost $3 a pint. Yeah. Now you see this water right here? You see this right here?
Non-disclosure.
I think and I believe in my heart of hearts, those musicians who are smoking weed, they also putting cologne on that's in a bottle like this.
Cologne.
In a bottle like this. And they pouring it on to come to church. Because y'all stink before y'all even get there, man. So I'm trying to tell you, man, you driving down the street and you roll the window down and the whole community know that you here. That makes no sense. And I've seen this. I mean, I smelt it because I got good senses in my nose.
Yes, Lord.
My nose not just big because I'm handsome. God gave me a big nose because it's better to smell you with, my dear. Okay, Dr. Townsend.
Yes, sir.
Let's see now. What kind of tie is this?
Seems too much.
This is considered like the half Windsor.
The half Windsor.
Yeah.
That's
You take
one
this-
time around.
That's a one time
Yeah,
around.
you take this tie, you hold it with your left.
Now, you
if
can-
you're right-handed, right?
Okay.
So you're holding the tie with your left, right? So you take your right hand. Excuse this.
Yeah, you can remove that headphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
We
all
can
right.
hear you.
Okay. You take this. You take it around, right? You're still holding it with your left, right? You take it up through the hole. You remove your thumb.
Peekaboo, pull it through.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's right. Pull it through. That's right. Oh my God. Tousle man with jokes. Lord. Okay. You take it, you adjust your knot. You pull it up to adjust it. Okay. So this is the half.
I don't know what I said.
Half, Eddie.
Have ID.
Half.
I want half.
So that is half.
That's half.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. With pockets
Now,
there.
how do you wait?
Oops.
Oh, that's the fine. How do you stop the look that Donald Trump had where this goes all the way down to his shoes?
Okay.
I see that a
How
lot.
do you do that?
Yeah.
It's simple. It's quite simple with that. You would basically, before you do anything, you adjust it to where you want to go. Normally for me, I'll take the smaller end and I'll put it at my button or my second to last button, right? Or what some people do, depending on how tall they are and how long the tie is, they'll do it evenly. They'll do the tie evenly. If you're going to do that, if you want it to your belt buckle, you may want to adjust this, whereas the longer part is shorter than this. It depends on if you're going to do a single or a double, or half Windsor or full Windsor. So basically, you would adjust it. I like to adjust it so that this is, I'm using my thumb. Okay. Now you can do this if you're lefty or if you're right. Okay. So I'm gonna do this again. I'm a right-handed person. Okay. So this is the half. Goes up through the knot. Okay. I'll do this slow so that your audience can rewind this. You remove your thumb.
Y'all not praying for me.
Okay. Now, what I did see, it was early 2000s, was the fat knot, the big knot.
Yes, sir.
That was a trend, and the trend went out.
It did.
Thank God, because what they did was, with that, in my opinion, I don't think it was a good adjustment, because what they did when they made the big knot ties, they cut away the collar.
It did.
So you saw more of the collar that you didn't need to see.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This was more so cut away. Just like the French cuff shirt. And the French cuff shirt is still around. And that's good because I love cufflinks. I mean, really. That's like the new toy if you're a dresser. Okay, so you adjust your tie. You adjust your knot. And look, this side, because you adjusted it and made this longer than the shorter part, it comes right here to your belt. It should not go below your belly button or your belt. It should come right here. If you're this high, if you're 6 feet tall, Now, it depends on height too.
Right. True.
Okay.
Which is why you need an extra long tie if you're tall.
Yes.
If you're long torso, you need a longer tie.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, let me do the full for those who like the full look.
Okay.
Because I've seen one thing, and I think it damages ties. It's just my opinion, my personal style opinion. I don't think you should take a tie and make a bow tie. Okay. I think a bow tie should be a bow tie, and a tie should be a necktie. You
can do it, though.
You can do it. It is possible, but it's not the most fashionable thing in my opinion. Okay? So, I'm doing this again. What I'm doing with this, because this is going to be a full and it's going to go around twice, I'm going to make the bigger side longer. I'm bringing this up at least by a button. Okay? So, take this the same way. Taking it around once. And then you want enough slim room right here so that it does go around twice. That's why you make that other side longer. Again, you take it up, put it through the hole, and you bring it through. Now, it depends on, like Eric said, your torso and how tall you are. This works well. It depends on the type of collar. You know, if you got a full collar, you want a full knot. Some of these, because sometimes this knot can be slender. Right. You want to adjust it with the half Windsor. That's normally, you will see that like in a V or so. With this may come out like it's more slimmer, and so you want to adjust this to the point where, you know, it's round, it has some shape, it has some form and character. And I'll tell you what character is all about when we get to bow ties. Because bow ties are a bit different, especially if they're not pre-tied. So this fits in here, because sometimes people don't know where this goes. Right. Sometimes people will have this flying out in here. You don't know where to go. This little piece in the back is for this tie. Sometimes, depending on how it's made, it'll have two, depending on, like Eric said, if it's an extra long tie, it'll go through both of these. Yeah. That's what these are meant for, not just to show who made it, but they go through there to hold it, so that you don't always necessarily need a tie clip. Now, the other thing about a good tie will lay on you. Now, if we were out in the wind and this was a cheap tie, it would be flying everywhere. Yeah. But this tie, as you gentlemen can see, is weighty enough where it's supposed to lay. It's supposed to lay on you. Yeah. It's not supposed to do anything else. It's not supposed to flip back or do anything. This tie lays on you.
What is that? That's silk, cotton,
yes.
Polyester? What is it? What is that? Velvet? What is that? Velvet?
Yeah, it's a blend. However, it's a very thick blend, and as you can see, and as you can feel, it's very thick. By the way, this is the African-American company from Atlanta, Verse 9 Neckwear. Verse 9 comes from the scripture. It was, the business is influenced biblically. Sure. So, but basically, he has good products, and good products that don't tear up, that don't scar. One good thing I will suggest, if you are a man tying ties, even your bow ties, get a manicure. My reason for saying this is, if you got jagged edges, you don't need to scar your ties. You don't need to see strings hanging from your ties. Like there are some do's and don'ts. So if you're going to tie a tie, number one, clean your hands, because you don't want any excess oil on your tie. Number two, get a manicure. If you're not paying $40, go to Cheap Route, go to Walgreens, whatever. I'm not endorsing them. Go somewhere and buy you a kit and keep your nails manicured. That way you're not getting these little marks and scars on your tie, so that you ruin your tie. Okay? You want to keep your tie clean. Now, good ties, again, will lay, but good ties they will lay. You want to keep your hands clean, and you don't want to move your tie a lot. Good tie is going to lay. Yeah. But again, keep your hands clean. Just like you don't touch your face, you don't touch your tie, because one thing, like your face, your tie, as a man, your tie will get attention. Sometimes the first thing a woman sees, other than your shoes, some women, they go from the bottom up or the top down. The first thing a woman sees that gets her attention 9 times out of 10 is your tie and your pocket square. Yes, so, of course, you may not have the same matching pocket square, but this goes great because you see the purple or the lavender in the tie. So it depends on how you put in your pocket square. And there are different ways to do that. You can do the rose version of that, or you can do, this is a rounded. They're coming out with these. This is a new trend. They're coming out with these rounded pocket squares so that it looks like a flower. Okay? And actually, these normally take the place of a flower or a boutonniere. Sometimes men, as in the Roaring 20s, you've probably seen the gangster element wearing the flowers on their suits. Yeah, see? Now, look at this gentleman. See? Brother Eric has a perfect knot.
He worked it out.
He worked
That's
it
a
out.
double Windsor with the nice little crease.
Yeah, with the nice little crease.
I did that without a mirror, by the way.
He did that without the mirror. That's right.
See, without the mirror.
Because it comes from practice. It
Yes.
comes from practice. The other thing is, too, when it comes to fashion and style, you may have been taught how to tie a tie. Let's just say you may have been taught with a striped tie. Don't pigeonhole yourself into just wearing striped ties. You want to experiment. Wear some paisley. Wear some polka dots. Wear some things. Polka dots are not for just old men. Pink isn't just for old men. It depends on how you play it. Now, we may not call it pink. We might call it rose because you know how brothers are.
Yes, sir.
But you want to experiment. You don't want to limit yourself to just wearing a certain type of tie because your daddy wore it. Let me tell you, you're not a man of you're a man. Be a man in your 30s if you're a man in your 30s. You're not your father, your grandfather, your great uncle. Be a man in your 30s. You want to experiment. There's nothing wrong with a splash of color.
Right.
Another thing that people are doing with their ties and their pocket squares, they're matching up their socks. So, of course, the sock game is a big thing now. That's another big trend that's happening now. So that's another great thing.
The sock game. Hey, now notice you button that one button down there, although you've got 2 buttons. What if you had 3 or 4 buttons? What's the rule to buttoning your jacket?
Thank you very much. Great question.
You're welcome.
You always want to button the top button, maybe the second if you have 3.
Yeah.
But that third button, as a rule, you don't. If you have 2 buttons, you always button 1. Sometimes some people wear it open. Depends on your shape, your build. Because of my size, I'll do 1 button. If I was less in size, I'd probably do open button or, depending. Depends on the physique.
Sure.
Depends on the physique. So, but mostly the 1 button is the rule. The same thing if this was a vest, whether it's a double-breasted vest or a double-breasted suit, you always leave that 1 button unbuttoned.
1 button.
Yes.
Okay, even if it's a double-breasted.
Yes.
Okay, and it depends. Let's say you got several buttons. You got 6 buttons on there.
Okay, you got 6 buttons on the vest. Leave that 6 button open.
That last one.
That last one unbuttoned. Yes.
Okay, unbuttoned. All right. You understanding any of this?
Yes, sir. I'm having a great time.
Man, that's good stuff. Let's see what the ladies are saying here. The ladies, they are important to our lives.
And sometimes they pick the ties for their husbands.
Yeah, well,
because they want to coordinate.
Let me tell you,
their outfits with their husbands.
Let me tell you, my ties might be old, but 99% of them were picked out by the ex.
That work out for you.
Well, I tell you, I still got the ties. Don't ask me for the ex. That's why she. The ex marked that spot. Holly Jones says you should.
Y'all not praying.
Y'all not praying. Y'all not praying hard enough. Yeah,
my phone went out.
Sorry, y'all. We're saying love when my man has on smell good that is not overpowering, but leaves when he's when he's no longer around me. Have something on her mind.
You want to do that and to coordinate. Sometimes with your fragrance.
With your fragrance, yes. It's like wine and
wine and cheese or wine and good chocolate.
Yes, or good steak.
Yeah, you want to coordinate this, and then this is the other thing, and I'll be teaching this up in the Skokie location. Not only will I be teaching ties, but there's something called fragrance application. You need to know where to apply your fragrances, because in the 80s, of course, when we didn't know no better, we were young and dumb, and anyway, I won't repeat the rest, but you mix cologne, and you're not supposed to mix fragrances. But
who does that?
I don't know. We used to do that in the 90s. I won't call out names.
I'm sorry, y'all. Whoever's mixing cologne, y'all need to repent. Yeah. 1 second. Eric, I'm sorry, there's another Eric here. Eric Jewel Hayes, like there's only one Eric in the world. He's a Townsend. He said, leave a button undone. As I learned, it's a suit, not a uniform. Ha! My man. Valencia Lacey. Well, y'all keep praying.
Hi, Valencia.
Valencia, you behave, okay? All right.
Singer.
Yeah. This ain't the Valencia show. Stop calling her name.
Oh, I won't call her name. I won't say her name.
That's my girl. Ella Shima says, love a well-dressed, smell good man. See, the ladies, they saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
All right, they believe in y'all. I believe I can fry. Because some of y'all smell like you were in the sun.
Oh, Lord.
You woke up and forgot to take a shower.
Smell like hot mustard.
And then you went and reached, instead of for the soap, you reached for the honeysuckle. you reached for whatever was in your bathroom because you couldn't see because the sleep was in your eyes. And you went outside. And no animal wanted to come around you. None. I just can't understand, brothers, today, 2018, why you still look the way you look. When you got good men like these here brothers out there trying to teach y'all chivalry, because chivalry, is chivalry dead? Did it die?
Chivalry
is
it's
just
dead,
sick.
But chivalry is like a good fragrance. You need to know when to apply it.
Chivalry. You see how he twisted that, man?
Yeah.
It's not dead. You need
That's pretty good.
You need to know when to apply it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Because sometimes the younger generation, some of them do not understand the mannerisms of chivalry. I'll give you a perfect example. I was coming, a young lady from the South was coming, no, she was from the city, was coming out the door after church. I extended my hand because it was cold, it was icy and everything. She looked at me funny like, I don't need your hand. Next behind her, a Southern woman from Alabama came out the door. I extended my hand. She pulled her hand out. She knew what to do. She knew that was a thing, not just a chivalry, but a thing of safety, because I don't need to see her fall on that floor, on that ground.
That's good.
So
that's pretty good.
you need to know when to apply it.
Hey, Townsend.
Yes.
If you're walking down the street with a lady on the sidewalk, what side should she be on?
Tell it.
It depends on in what capacity she is in my life.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Ooh, I could take that so many ways.
Could you?
He don't need to expound on that one. Wow.
Okay, so
Historically, help us out.
Yes, sir.
Historic.
I'm gonna take notes. I need to find it.
Forget you, Chenier. So historically,
Yes, sir.
there's a profession that has been around since time began, just about at least since after the flood.
Whoa,
Yes.
oh God.
It ran rampant before the flood.
Yes, it did.
Yes, I do understand. My daughter is listening, and so in this profession, if a woman was available, had appointment slots, then she walked on the outside, on the curb side.
Appointment slots.
Appointment slots.
Yes, that's important.
Yes, sir.
So in case you needed your nails done.
Yes.
Or it was a full service
It was.
appointment.
It was.
You wanted, toes done, manicures, and all that. But if she walked on the inside, well, let me go back, because if she was on the outside, then she was making note that she not only did she have available appointments, but you ought not wait to approach to get your time slot. If she walked on the inside, then not only did she not have appointments, but she might not be in that profession.
Oh my God! I see.
So you would want to tread lightly if you approached her at all.
At all.
It changed how you approach. Nowadays, I see it often where you can tell that they are a couple, but there is no concern with where the woman walks. Let's take it back a step about the profession. Let's move on to the other side of protecting. If this is a husband and wife or a courting type of relationship, then the woman did not walk on the outside in case, my mama would say it this way, in case the car jumped the curb, right? The other thing was in the city, when they walked, people used to throw their garbage out the windows.
That's right.
And very rarely did they throw it right next to the building. They tried to throw it to the street or to the curb. So if anybody got hit with garbage being thrown, it would be the man on the exterior. So not only do I protect you from, a runaway horse or a runaway vehicle, but I also kept you clean, right? And I honored your womanhood by where I positioned you.
Yes, sir.
Where I positioned you.
Yes, sir. I said it all.
So basically, ladies, I get the whole car thing, but before there were cars, they were doing this in England because they had what's called street sweepers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it was the nastiest job in the world, even though they wore white. They wore white, and that was to protect you from pee and doo-doo and whatever else was coming out that window. Okay.
Wow.
Now the earlier example that the brother made, he was talking about the women who had appointments. So one is a resale and the other was wholesale. Okay.
My wife just put on here the views shared
yes.
on this show are not necessarily
that's
that of the Townsend.
Okay, all right. Well, your wife is smart.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah. She's smart.
That's my cousin.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray.
Valencia, the question. I mean, the show really is about how do men dress? How should men dress?
That's right.
How should your man dress? Okay, so that's what this is all about. We just.
If anybody
talking about
concerned about what the show topic is, from how to hit or miss,
miss hit or miss, I can't do it, man. Because you mentioned Valencia on anybody's show, it turns the annals of time.
Yeah, you're right.
And then we've got
sister.
Yeah. And then we have to sing, yes, if your heart is willing. Yeah.
Well, your heart and soul say yes.
Yeah. Yes. You got to think big, Doc. Okay. Think big. Hey, what you got here, man? What else you got here?
Right here I have some great fragrances. This is by Hubert Gunn. It's called Fougere Royale.
Ooh,
yes,
that's
it's
romantic.
very Fougere Royale.
Mufasa, I like that.
It's a great fragrance for every day. Normally, I would say it smells like a formal wear. I often put certain fragrances in a refrigerator because for men, some fragrances go on cold. Right. The other thing is some fragrances go with particular seasons and particular events. If you smell Japur is by Boucheron. This is, I consider this, if you smell this smells more like a black tie.
Let me see.
That's more like tuxedo.
Oh, yeah, that's black tie.
Tuxedo / black tie.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
That's after 7. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Now, Fougere Royale, this can be formal, it can be dressed, and it can be every day.
I like this. This is subtle. This is subtle.
Yes. It's by Hubert Gunn.
Oh, I like that better than the tie.
Now,
what kind of it?
Now, the other thing is, I do have these, and I sell no knockoffs. I have something that's an everyday cologne for a good man. Again, it's much like certain things. You can wear it cold. You can wear it warm. This is called Happy. Believe it or not. And it's a very light fragrance. It's a very everyday,
it is
sporty, things like that.
Wow.
So Happy is another
pretty good.
Yes. So, and I often say this, your fragrances sometimes go with your colors.
Okay.
It go with your moods. Mm-hmm. It go with the occasion.
Yeah.
It goes with the seasons.
See.
Yes.
That second one, what would you call that again? Was that this one?
Fougere Royale. That was the first one. Fougere Royale.
Yeah, I like
He just wanted you to say it again.
He's just so romantic, man.
I am a romantic.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, can you write me a letter, please?
No.
And I don't make sure it ain't Dear John. Okay. Okay. Now, what's this right there? What's that?
We have the bow tie.
Ooh, now we talking.
Now,
look at that pretty color. What color is that?
This is yellow.
That's yellow.
This is yellow.
I knew that was yellow.
Oftentimes, it's good to wear colors. Colors have meaning. For example, yellow is a color of business.
Yes, sir.
Yellow is also a color of invention. So, and it's a color of creativity. Whereas orange is a color of health. Mm-hmm. Okay. Purple, of course, royalty.
Yes, sir.
I like this because this also reminds me of it's French, and you have the fleur de lis. And it's personal because my name is French. So and it reminds me of Bastille Day.
That's right, Marcel.
Yes, that's right.
Marcel.
A hairstyle, believe it or not, in the 20s.
Yeah.
It was a hairstyle, and symbolically,
it was a mime too.
No, that was Marcel.
Okay.
But the Marcel, when you look at the
Marsupial, Eminem, I don't know.
No. but the Marcel is a hairstyle, and which also means that it's a covering. Hello, somebody.
Hello.
Anyway, I'm not no sir. I know you the man, but no, it's what's inside of you gonna come out.
That's so true.
Old Baptist thing. Anyway,
that's true. And go out in the drought. Jesus said. Yeah.
So the bow tie is great because you can do many things with the bow tie. There are many ways to do it. I am adjusting the style, the size right now because of my neck, and I'm gonna show you right quick how to tie it.
Keep doing that
because
We're going to talk about this jury. Because every kiss begins with K. Look at that. Look at that thing shining. Boy, that's some bad stuff.
It's very luxurious. You can only find it at certain stores, but now you can find it at Iconic Style.
That's nice. That is the biggest...
Walter, that's the top to the perfume.
To the cologne. Actually, and the good thing, let me explain. I'm glad you said that, cousin. I'm glad you said that. This is parfum. Parfum has more oil in it, so it's not like eau de toilette or regular cologne. Cologne is mixed with like fragrance, oils, alcohol. Okay, and it may not go on. Eau de toilette is a bit stronger than cologne. Eau de toilette. Okay, now this is 100% parfum, just like the Japur. 100% parfum. So this is going to stay on you longer, depending on where you spray it. We talked about fragrance application, where there are certain places you do it. Primarily for a man, you always, and for anybody, but primarily for men, if you want to get noticed without being overpowering, you spray it on your pressure points, your palm. Okay, you may spray it on your joints. You may spray it behind the neck. I mean, behind the ear, actually, behind both ears.
Really? Why?
Because when you're walking past, it's like, the sweet smelling savior. Anyway, but your joints, you want to put it on your joints. Also, because heat rises, one good place for a man to put fragrance on it, if you may not know, is put it on your ankles.
Yeah.
And you also want to apply it after a good shower because your pores are open. So this is why perfume will stay on you longer. Any fragrance, but especially perfume.
Open the floodgates of your ankle. Yeah.
So again, getting to this ties. These are like shoestrings.
Okay.
Bow ties are like shoestrings.
The biggest shoestrings
okay.
I've ever seen in my life.
Some people adjust them. Some people say, consider it like a fish. Some people make what this show is amazing. Okay, so you take both sides, you put one side over the other. It's like tying a shoestring around a bottle. Okay, you take this one side. Okay, that's right here. Pull it to the back. You take your front. You make a face. You take what you've pulled over, and you pull it down over.
Make a face.
Okay.
The face is still straight. There's the face.
Now you take your bottom, you take your thumb, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna push it through the hole, right here, until you adjust it. Now, right here, this is the fun part because this is where the character of the bow tie comes in.
Yes, sir.
You want to keep adjusting this. Pull it straight, you tighten your knot. Pull it straight, you adjust your knot. You keep pulling, you keep adjusting until you get it to a certain place, right? You want to keep it now, okay? Keep that there. And especially if they're double-sided, because sometimes you can see the other side. But you want to keep pulling it and adjusting it until you get it just so, and that it, boom.
There it is. There it is, man.
Yes.
I'd have been on that for 2 hours, man. There's no way I could have figured that out on my own. Good Lord. Lady Rochelle's talking about what about jury for men? What's the deal with jury?
What's the deal with jury? Great question. Great question.
Great answer.
Jury for men, for single men, I'll speak from a single man's perspective. We like to wear the power ring on our pinky. Or depending on if you're in school or not, some people wear their ring, their doctoral ring or right here on the middle finger or so forth.
Did you say power ring on the pinky?
Pinky, yeah.
I ain't never heard nothing like that.
Sometimes it's called a gents ring, and normally the gents ring is worn on your pinky. Okay. It shows, it gives off an air of confidence, and not just style, but definitely confidence. For me, because I'm of a certain age bracket, I like yellow gold. White gold is okay, but yellow gold is what I saw growing up. So of course, so that works well, far as but you don't want to do it with too much jewelry.
Yeah.
Either silver or gold. You don't have to wear too much. Just one good piece is enough because you want that piece to accent a bracelet if you have it, and a good watch. If you have it, you don't need the biggest watch in the world. I have a Tissot, but Tissot, Tissot.
Tissot.
Yeah, it's pronounced
Tissot.
Women
do that.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good. Let me see those watches that you got.
Okay, and I also have at Iconic Style.
Is that
watches and wallet sets.
Man, that's all right there. Now you're talking my language.
Watches and wallet sets.
That's good stuff. Look at that wallet, man. It's tight. Okay.
Yes. And yes, there are different faces on there, believe it or not. One's cream, one's pearl, and one's
so
a
if that's
gold.
a Tissot, is that a Tariq?
No.
Okay.
No.
Boom, boom.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Man, that's some good stuff. He giving me all my material today, Doc.
Oh, my God.
I done ran out of material. Man, that's good stuff, man. This is good stuff. This is from, what I call that? I lost it.
Iconic style.
Okay, this is,
I don't know.
This right here is Iconic Style. I need y'all to go to this website right here. www.iconicstyle.biz. Here's the email. You got a man, you got a father, a husband, a son, and you want them to
coming up. Prom's coming up.
Come on, prom is coming up.
Yes, we have
cotillions and all kind of fancy aristocratic events is coming up. Camelot and all that stuff right here. Go to this man's website and tell him Sir Walter Jones sent you. All right, there's the proprietor and chief brand master. I like that. Chief brand master, Doc. And that ain't no fraternity or y'all. He's a brand master. Brand master flag.
So when we have brainstorming, we don't call them brainstorming, we call them brainstorming.
I love it. This is Xavier Treadwell. Blessings to you, sir. So good to see you, the greatest musician I know.
Oh yeah, Treadwell. Yes, sir.
Our buddy Gil says bow ties are easy to tie. Yolanda Edwards, hey, how you doing? Nice info, good stuff. I know, girl, I know. Tell your man, call him, tell him, hey, we about to save our relationship. Come on now, Keith Nelson, blessings to you. He said, talk, Doc. He must have been talking about you, Townsend, because I wasn't doing nothing on this show. This is Sir Walter Jones show, and I got nothing to do on this show. Okay? All right? We're going to have to do an after show because I want Townsend on my left here to talk about another aspect, another twist on this thing that might hurt some of y'all's feelings.
Good teacher.
Oh, it's gonna hurt you, so you better not go nowhere. Don't go nowhere at Facebook because the after show is getting ready to start, and we getting ready to upset 80% of the brothers out there who are wearing suits. But well, I may even have to leave the room for this one because I ain't always wrapped tight, okay?
Oh,
yeah, I ain't always wrapped tight. But if you look at this clock right here, I can't understand why folk don't know how to set times. It's still 4:58 in the Chicago area, although it's 5:58. Somebody don't get a ladder and change it back to forward to where it belongs. So I'm thinking the show was early, we started an hour early. No. Somebody broke the engineer's leg. He came in here with some cane. His wife was raising cane. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, sir. Don't go nowhere, y'all. After show's getting ready to start, I'm going to turn this tiger loose and see what he got to say about stuff like this. And this right here, y'all see that it was a top to the bottom. I was going to put this as a cufflink. It's going to be the biggest cufflink in American history. Tell your grandmama to go to the basement because this next show is not about her. Tell her it's not about her. All right? Tell her to lock the door and put some headphones on and listen to Aretha Franklin because this is for the young folks. D. Curtis Randall on the show right now. This is the Sir Walter Jones Show. After show's getting ready to start.
Y'all not praying for me.
Man, you ain't praying loud enough or hard enough, all right? At all.
Is that a prayer corner?
Is there a prayer corner? Yeah.
I guess I better go make a prayer corner.
Okay, hey, Townsend. All right, the Townsend on my left. Because there's so many Townsends around me right now. I got a double blessing here.
Yes, Lord.
Elisha would be so jealous of me right now. But I'll tell my story after you, because we got suits on. We've got there's this thing in the Old Testament where the priest, and you knew a priest by his garment. You knew a Levite by his garment.
Right.
Okay. You knew Jesus. They called him Rabbi. He had a certain garment on. When the woman touched the hem of his garment, it wasn't a pants leg.
Right.
There was a tis that was on. It had those little balls around it. Okay, that was his garment. That was the hem of his garment. So you knew a person by their garment. Police have certain outfits, uniforms in certain colors. Okay, all right. So judges have robes, and everybody have that demonstrate or represented who they were.
Right.
All right. So men, we do wear suits, and many of us look really nice. But then you turn around, and sometimes you look on the news or on Facebook or somewhere, and there is a scandal. on the person's life. Because the outward appearance, the Bible did say, man looks on it. And man will appreciate or admire or respect the man because of the outward goodly apparel.
Right.
That's why the scripture talked about these people come into your church and you put the goodly apparel person up to the front.
Right.
And the guy who might look like you, they put them in the back, not realizing the guy like you is more anointed or just anointed, period. This person, well, he's a shyster.
Right.
And one of the great examples, believe it or not, was from Oprah Winfrey. Had her show, and she had a bunch of people on her stage, and they were dressed different kind of ways. There was a man that had a nice suit on. He was dapper, and then there was a man next to him who had street clothes on, pants sagging, what have you, and down the road. And she asked the audience to take a poll on who would it be that you would trust in the elevator.
Yeah.
And of course, 99% of the people said they would not trust the guy that had the sagging pants on, and the distressed jeans. They trusted the man who had the suit on. And she asked the man to stand up, the man who had this suit on, and he says, "I'm a felon.
Yeah.
I have a record. I just got out of the penitentiary. He says, I'm this, I'm that." He just told about his story and then shocked the audience. And then she asked the guy with the distressed jeans on, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm a millionaire. I have a beautiful wife, lovely children. He does this for the community." I mean, he was just, but in the audience, like, they're like, "This is the guy I wouldn't trust in my elevator." So this, that outward look. So now we got these suits on, Doc. Help us out with this, because in church you see a lot of suits walking around.
Yeah.
What do you see, though?
Y'all like how he likes to set me up.
Always. From 5 to 6 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. So the Bible is clear that man's initial attempt at discovery from another man. Discovering what he's made of. And I use man, let's say mankind or humanhood. But to discover what someone is made of has an initial origin in their exterior appearance. And it simply says it by this: man looks at the outward appearance. God looks at the heart. Now, there are times when we can appear to know what we're talking about, to know how to lead, to know the level of safety, but it is a facade. And the reasons why, or the reason why clothes became such an issue was because it was the initial act that happened after the turning away from God in the Garden of Eden. After the sin, they didn't grab a hold to a baseball bat and a football. They didn't go and play sports. They didn't go and grab an instrument. They didn't go. Thank you, Holy Ghost. They didn't go and to the kitchen and cook up a nice meal. The sin that happened in the garden was immediately followed up with making of clothes.
Oh man.
And when we this may be hard for a lot of y'all, because
I told them that
I used to be one of the ones who was really excited about a new suit, who was really excited about a new tie. My wife would say I'm kind of am now. I still have quite a few ties that I don't wear as much anymore, but I still have quite a few ties and a couple of suits that I've still yet to get altered. So brand new suits with tags on them. Because I've realized now that my reward is not in how well I look. It's how well I live. Now, that doesn't discount me from looking well and smelling well. So that doesn't mean that the conversation on how the exterior man looks is not important. It is, which is why I could take a vow of this Nazarite thing that I'm doing, right? Unkept hair. I'm not cutting my nails. I'm not, and I'm trying to see if I can still be faithful to when God tells me to go and speak to somebody I don't know, without worrying about their judgment of me, because it happens. I know you're judging me, but can I press through the knowledge that you're going to judge my exterior to the point where God can use me as a willing vessel?
Oh boy, that's good.
Right? So the exterior man likes to play dress up. Yeah. Church folk especially like to play dress up, but we don't change what really we're dressing up.
Oh man, it hurts. I moved to South Dakota, and my pastor at the time, the bishop of the church, he looked at me. He says, "You act church," and I knew exactly what he meant when he said it. He says, "I see right through you. You know that church way. You do all of the moves. Yeah. You walk like it, talk like it. He says, I can look right through you." He says, you're hurting. You're crying. Yeah. You go home crying on the floor. Yeah. Man, and then of course I lost it.
Yeah, of course.
Because he was the only person at that time saw right through that outer surface. He saw right through it. The Old Testament saints, when something happened in their lives, they actually ripped their clothes. Yeah. And they put on sackcloth.
It was part of the mourning process.
And ashes.
Yeah.
Because there's this, again, yes, men do look on the outward appearance, and God understands that. That's why my father, he taught us to put on something nice when you're traveling, especially when we were coming up in the 70s. Mm-hmm. We would travel through southern Illinois where, the KKK and all these, through Effingham and Evansville and all these places where black people were found dead somewhere or missing or locked up in some jail for weeks and nobody knew that they were there. And so my father would put on suits because he understood that man looks on our appearance. He says, I won't get stopped as quick as this guy with these street clothes on. Mm-hmm. Right? They just was. He said, now that don't mean I'm not gonna get stopped, but I have a better chance of driving through southern Illinois to get into Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And he of course he never really got stopped unless he was speeding. Right. And if he did get stopped, they approached him with, "Sir, just want to check out, yada yada yada." All right. So I understood that, and I've told the story. My son walked in the store with his hoodie on. I told him to take it off in the car. He says, I'm cold. I says, okay, when you walk into that shop, you will be the center of attraction. Yep. And he did. He walked in there, and you can literally hear the camera going, wherever he walked. I said, yeah. And I said, you see that China woman on that ladder? She's not up there because she's trying to elevate her life into the upper echelon. She's not trying to reach heaven, okay? She's looking at you. Yeah. She ain't paying no attention to me because I was dressed nice. She watching you. All right, now there are new people that always come to my show, but I always tell this story at being at a church. I can't tell you what kind of church it was, but trust me, they were Pentecostals. Yeah. All right, and it was a funeral for a person who was a gang person. Mm-hmm. So of course, a whole bunch of other gang people were there, and those who were dressed wild. If you saw the guests who were there, you would have thought you were in some kind of party, And I'm sitting among the missionaries and the elders and the greeters, and they all were saying, "Look at that! Look at just nasty! Just tainting the house of God. Ooh, it just came." And then I started to join them in that, and this is when I know. So you got to know the voice of the Lord. You got to know it wasn't the chicken that you had last night. You just got to know when it's Him. He said, "Get up and walk out now." And I got up. I knew it was him. Get up. And I walked out, and then he told me to stop at the door. And I stopped at the door, and there was a glass door that went outside into the streets. And I'm looking at, and he told me to look out that window of the door, the glass, and there was a woman there with her mini skirt on, and the guy was smoking his cigarette, and they was cussing, and they was doing all that stuff. And he said, "You see them?" I said, "Yes." He says, "That's your commission. That's why I died. Right there." He says, "Now look at yourself. I had on a nice suit. I was ready to I could have done the funeral myself." He says, "I saw what you did the night before, and you stink." And my eyes started watering up. I'm sitting there, you know, people can't hear his voice, but I could. I'm sitting at the door, and I'm weeping. And he says, "You dirty with that suit on. And look outside. And you in there with the chicken crew telling these people that they're nasty and they're tainting the house of God." That's your commission right there. Those people that you saying that are cussing and you calling them hoes and prostitutes. Man, I had a moment. And I turned back around and walked back in, and I refused to sit with the elders, the missionaries, and the greeters. I would not sit with them. You know who I sat with? I sat with those who Jesus would have sat with. Because he was outside, and it was us who said, "Look at him messing around with these publicans and prostitutes and all these commoners," you know. But these people followed him wherever he went. There was something attractive about him. You know, it wasn't about his clothes. It was something about him, you know. And that woke me up that day, and I said, I'll never, ever get into that place again. I still wear suits. I still look nice. Oh, but in some territories, I take that suit off. Yeah. I will put my street clothes on, and I go up in the men's shelters and the women's shelters. I don't dress because sometimes this is just it causes them to think that I'm higher. In many cases, these people who I talk to, they feel that we can't reach them because we go in there with the blings on. Yeah. And I've seen preachers do that. They're trying to do street ministry with their blings on. And my pastor, Bishop Carlos Moody, he's been traveling to 67 countries around the world. And when he go on these mission trips, the brothers, he said, "Okay, it's time to go to get ready to get on the airplane." And these brothers show up at the airport with 6 and 7 luggages and bags and all kind of stuff, and wondering, which Hilton are we going to stay in? He said, Bishop would say, "Man, this is missions. We're not staying in no Hilton." He said, "You see what he got on this? He got on this 2-piece with the short sleeve." He said, "This is missions work. Take that stuff. You're gonna leave it here at the airport, or you're gonna go back home. You can't come on this mission trip." And they get there and they sleep in tents and mosquitoes everywhere, and they ducking because, you know, you got these goons with guns, you know, and these guys want to go down there and eat steak dinners.
I remember when Bishop was in Berlin in '86 when I was there.
Oh, you see?
Yeah, Bishop was over there. I was probably like, the church got in. Who was here? Man, I was really flabbergasted. And I'm like, wow. So it's like no matter where you think you are, you think you by yourself, the church is there. They're there. Oh, yeah. They had more people praying in Berlin. Yeah. You know, but at that time the wall was up. Sure. Then, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Bishop so we get caught up in that. And that's why I wanted to end the show on getting caught up in the clothes. But one of my Townsend, and I think I said this to you before, I think my greatest worship moment was when I was naked. Yeah. I was naked. Now, I'm sorry, y'all, if you can't take that portion there, so don't do no imaginations. Just try to block that out, okay? But my greatest worship moment was at home, and I put my face on the ground. I was naked. I said, I don't even want to wear man's clothes. I need to seek you now, because I had lost everything, man. I lost everything, and God wasn't speaking. He wasn't speaking to me. And, you know, in the scripture, King Saul, God stopped speaking. Samuel was dead.
It's a sad day. Yeah.
Saul had took all of the witches and told them, get out of the kingdom. Can't be here. And so God stopped talking. He wasn't talking to nobody. So what did he do? He had to go and find him a witch. Say, bring Samuel back. I said, I don't want to be in that case where I have to go looking for soothsayers and witches to find out what my future is. No, I need to seek you. I said, I don't want no man's clothes when I'm talking to you. And that was the greatest experience I've had. And I know I heard the voice of the Lord. And here's the Sir Walter Jones show today. All right. And I've impacted people's lives. But that's the thing right there. I need you to see. I get it. Y'all get caught up in your clothes. But it's not really about your clothes. It's about your heart. Yeah, it's a matter of the heart. It's a matter of the heart. And once you get that straight, then call Iconic Style and put something in your closet.
What y'all was saying, it's like confirmation because in my journal, Lord had given me this a few weeks ago. You're not just dressing them on the outside, but you got to give them something for the inside. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to dress the inside because their inside is going to reflect the outside. Yes. And you got to give them something that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got to say, Doc?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm good, man.
All right.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Coming. I appreciate it. Again, I got double, I was about to say double negative. That means that's 0.
Yeah.
But you don't want that. I got a double positive.
Man,
right? Yeah, I'm excited. Lishima, Asan, and Loretta, Lamara, Dolores, Elder Jeremiah, Buddy Gill, and there's a whole bunch of y'all here. Thank you for tuning into this show. Do me a favor and hit the share button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. I want us to bombard this man's website, especially those of you on YouTube or you around the world. You say, I live out of town. So what? Hit that website right there. He must have stopped his show. You see that town, he don't know how to work yet. Okay, iconicstyle.biz. All right, hit that right there, or send him an email and tell the brother that you heard about him on the Sir Walter Jones Show. If you're on YouTube, type that email in there in your email-a-thon, okay, and say, I heard about you on the Sir Walter Jones Show. Right. Give me a shout-out.
Skokie Old Orchard.
Or come to Skokie, up here north of Chicago. That's where my Jewish friends hang out in Skokie. You'll see them walking up the street on the Saturday night, the morning. They don't drive, they walk.
Yes, they do.
They're doing it the right way. Yeah. All right. I just embarrassed a whole bunch of people out there, and I'm going to be quiet and shut this down. Because I keep getting in trouble. Every time I open my big mouth, I get in trouble with the Pentecostals. Oh, Lord. I love her. Yes, I do. All right, y'all. Peace and goodwill. This is the Sir Walter Jones Show.